All right.
Okay. All right. Could I ask one question before we go? You guys are using tires and gasoline. Is that hypocritical at all, given that you want to stop a pipeline?
No, we're going,
Albertans are under attack. Canadians are under attack. Everyone who enjoys living in this country is under attack right now by a band of foreign-funded radicals. And I use the term band very loosely and certainly not in the legal sense. The Wet'suwet'en First Nations is a company.
Okay, so just to let you know, Keean, we're not a band. The band is an accessory of the federal government, which is located only on reserves. And we're the Hereditary Chief's Office, and our chiefs are our board of directors for this company, nonprofit society.
It's a company that receives foreign capital, money from the Tides Foundation, from Forest Ethics. This organization is being funded to stage radical demonstrations and illegal blockades of pipelines in this country. The mainstream media, the CBC particularly, is keen to give these folks the benefit of the doubt, to even lie, as the CBC did, pretending that the Wet'suwet'en First Nation was indeed a legal First Nation and not actually a company, as they admit themselves to be, in order to garner sympathy for their cause. Right now, I'm in northern British Columbia, just south of Smithers. This blockade has been in and out of the news, and because the mainstream media is so keen to capitulate with these criminals, these people who are illegally blockading a route that is providing a lifeline to mothers and fathers who are providing for their children across Canada. Here at Rebel News, however, we're not buying into that narrative, and we're coming behind enemy lines to speak with them, to ask them a few questions. Now, the RCMP were kind enough to allow myself and my security detail exclusive access behind the police blockade that is on kilometer 27 of the road leading up to the Coastal GasLink site that the company is needing access to. Now, a dozen or so kilometers past the police blockade, there is another blockade, and that blockade belongs to these foreign-funded radicals. Because everyone in the mainstream media is so keen to give these criminal actors the benefit of the doubt and give them sympathetic coverage, we at the Rebel thought that it was important to show the other side of the story. It's a pipeline that has been signed off by every single band, legal Indian band, on the pipeline route. Look at this map. And here are actually the contracts between TC Energy and those bands. Now, the Wet'suwet'en First Nation, which is not really a First Nation, it's a fake First Nation, is the organization paying for these blockades, using tires, gasoline-soaked rags, widowmakers, they call it, trees that will fall on RCMP vehicles and reporters, indeed people like myself who are coming to report on this story. Myself and my security have driven up this road, and we're about to speak with some of the protesters. All right, so we see smoke up ahead, so we're going to approach the encampment. There's a blockade right past the encampment. Looks like they're building a fire, and it looks like they have sort of an operations center here. There's a crowd of folks, more than I expected, frankly. And this isn't the bridge that is actually officially blockaded. This is more of a secondary checkpoint created by the blockaders, it looks like, so that you can't even get close to the bridge. We're already behind enemy lines, and they're not going to be happy to talk to us. So we're going to speak to these people and see if they'll grant me an interview.
yeah, what I would suggest is you guys just go and then maybe come back later in midnight.
Could I just pop out, grab some footage?
No footage. Yeah, just talk to the hereditaries down there before you come up. Maybe you can have a clue of
There was no hereditary. Would they meet us up there?
do some investigating, and I'm sure you'll come across them.
Hey, could I ask one question before we go? You guys are using tires and gasoline. Is that hypocritical at all, given that you want to stop a pipeline?
No, we're going. We're directing you to the hereditary chiefs now, so you can go.
All right. Now, normally when a law-breaking environmental protester tells me not to do something, well, that's when I know that I should be doing it. I wanted to get out of the pickup truck and film everything that these lawbreakers are doing, to document it all, because I knew that no other journalist in the entire country would be doing what I was doing. Unfortunately, my security detail, former military operative and RCMP officer himself, he told me absolutely not. We were in the middle of the bush with no cell phone coverage, no police in sight, and there were dozens of them and 2 of us. The chance that some of them had a knife, or even worse likely, and the likelihood that they would want to wound the only critical reporter of them in the country, well, the odds for that are just too high. And my boss, Ezra, well, he had instructed me to do whatever the security had said. But it didn't really matter because we got what we came for. Now, these people really are hypocrites. They're blockading a petroleum pipeline, a pipeline that is creating the very traps that they're using to endanger the lives of journalists and law enforcement. Tires, rubber tires, gasoline-soaked rags. They don't understand the hypocrisy of what they're doing. What I also found interesting about that interaction is that it wasn't really First Nation individuals. There was 2 white people. If this is indeed a tribal matter, a matter of spiritual land and historical significance to Aboriginal people, why are there white people here at this blockade pulling the strings? Could it be the representatives from the Tides Foundation, from the American money that is funding actions like this? As of right now, we're not sure, but we're certainly going to be looking into it. It's a matter of time before something has to break here. When will the RCMP be breaking up this illegal blockade? A blockade that has been said repeatedly by judges from courts of law that it is illegal and that they have absolutely no right to this land whatsoever. How long will these foreign-funded radicals be able to stand out here in this minus 40-degree weather? We'll keep you posted as things develop on this story at fakefirstnation.com. You can go there to stay updated as it happens, and you can follow me on Twitter live at @TheRealKeean for live updates as I cover this story of national significance to the people of Canada. I can't stay out here much longer. It is minus 40 degrees out here, so for now I will be signing off on a road south of Houston, behind the police checkpoint and just before the illegal blockade orchestrated by the Wet'suwet'en First Nation. And yes, indeed, this is Crown land. Crown land held in right of Queen Elizabeth II, whether these illegal blockaders like it or not. For Rebel News, I'm Keean Bexte. Thank you so much for watching our coverage here behind enemy lines, where the Wet'suwet'en First Nation organization, not a band, is blockading a road that is needed access to by TC Energy to provide a lifeline to Albertans desperately looking for jobs. If you want to support the work that we're doing to expose the other side of the story here at Rebel News, please go to fakefirstnation.com. My security to get out here was $1,500, and that is not even including hotels. We rely on your support to do the work that we're doing here at Rebel News, and we hope you find it valuable. For Rebel News, I'm Keean Bexte.